Oh, I wasn't muted. Well, welcome in, y'all. Welcome in, welcome in. How the heck is it going this evening? Got some Aeon Zen set up here. We're about to get into Game 3 of the Legacy of Gravehold campaign. I'm pretty excited to play another game. Hopefully, y'all will enjoy it as well. So, alright. So we just finished reading all this stuff. That's really blown out. Can you... Yeah, okay. So we just finished reading all of this at the end of our last game. We got all the reward cards and stickers and stuff, and it says, when you're ready to begin your next game, read section 37. So, let's jump into section 37 and see what we got going on. As the group approaches the southern outpost, they can already see the glints of the exposed metallic carapace of the monster prowling around the outskirts of the fort. The ground is littered with massive pieces of stone and broken pieces of architecture. The remains of a fight. Inko stands at the edge of the forest clearing, waiting for the nemesis to wander around to the other side and out of eyeshot. I know a back entrance, Inko says. Follow me. Following Inko's lead, you sneak around the back of the massive stone structure, down into the basement. Talix is waiting there in the light of his own burning gem, keeping guard over the people of the outpost. Some civilians, some scouts, some hunters, none trained to fight against an actual nameless. Oh, Inko, you made it, Talix says, relief breaking in his voice as he steps forward to fold his son up in his arms. All these people are related to each other, apparently, in the lore. Okay. The outpost came under attack while you were gone. It was already being attacked before I left, Inko tries to protest, but Talix shakes his head and cuts him off. It was being attacked, yeah, and I made sure to keep everyone inside and safe until you returned. But that's when things got really weird. I didn't see most of it because I was down here, but I could see just the edges of the fight. Some mages I didn't recognize were out there, and also Takrin, maybe? They defeated the Nameless and headed back into the forest, and that's when the second void portal opened. The second one? Inko's eyes widen. A person came out of this one, Talix continues explaining, all draped in robes and such. Picked up one of the little tiny metal creatures those other mages had just defeated and started whispering to it and feeding magic into it. Next thing I know, boom, it's as big and bloodthirsty as its predecessor. That must be the same woman who just attacked New Gravehold, Gygar says, tapping his chin with his finger. She must have the ability She must have the ability to give creatures that are already from the void even more power somehow. Just like Arachnos did. That would be fascinating if it wasn't so terrifying. Something attacked New Gravehold? Talix tries to ask, but Inko shakes his head. Not important right now. What is important is protecting these people and this place. You're right, Talix agrees. Is everyone ready to fight? Find sticker sheet 5, section 3, and add these enhancements to your Gravehold barracks. Okay. Sticker sheet 5, section 3. And we've got 8 XP to spend before we get into this fight. So, sticker sheet 5, section 3. Okay. Sticker sheet 5, section 3. So Inko and Talix have relationship enhancements that you can add. Makes sense since they're father and son, I guess. It does seem to be the direction they're going with a lot of this. Alright. Getting stickers. Okay, you may now spend your XP on enhancements. Build the supply using the cards from your Gravehold barracks, following the rules on page 14 of the rulebook. Return any cards that you did not use to your Gravehold barracks. Open envelope 16, open deck RA. Follow the setup instructions on the back of the Nemesis mat, etc. Okay, so let's see what XP we want to spend and what mages we want to use. So this is the stuff we've got. We've also got already a crystal. Let me see where our upgraded cards in here are. We spent our XP last time on a crystal that will boost another card in our hand, and then a crystal that, once fully boosted, gives you $2 instead of 1. That was what we had with what's her name? Claudia last time. And what did we have for Lost? What did we have for Lost? Did we upgrade his player board? I don't remember. Oh, we upgraded one of his breaches. That's right. Okay, let me find the breaches real quick. Somewhere in here. Yeah, we upgraded his 2 breach to also do an additional damage. Seemed like a pretty solid upgrade. Alright, so the way that I'm looking at this currently is I'd like to upgrade non-mage specific things. Because it seems like there's a mechanic in play for mages to get permanently killed. And that would just be wasting the XP you spent on them. So that's kind of the direction that I'm leaning with this right now. Although if we find some really cool stuff for a mage that we really like, maybe we'll go that route. Talix. Let's look at what his special stuff is. Powered Infinitum says gain $1 for each of your prepped sparks. He starts with a whole bunch of sparks and 2 open breaches. So like his first hand. Oh, he only has 2 crystals though. Okay, so you've got to play him a certain kind of way. That seems maybe fun. Then Inko. Harvest up to 2 cards in your hand or discard pile. Resolve the harvest effects of these cards twice. That's what that says. The cards that start the game in Inko's hand or deck can be harvested. When a card is harvested, destroy it. Okay, so let's look at his harvest cards before we decide if we want to use him. Gain $1 when harvested, gain $2. Gain $1 when this is harvested, gain a card from the supply that costs $4 or less. Gain $1. This is harvested, deal 2 damage. When this is harvested, focus one of your breaches. So it looks like they're all sparks and crystals, basically. But you can also harvest them to permanently trash them. And get a one-time like big bump. That seems fun. I might just stick with Claudia and Lost though. Although to be honest, Claudia wasn't really doing that much for us income-wise. Let me look at maybe Malistar and Kadir, because I'd really like to get one person in play who has like big money potential, you know? 3 crystals, 3 crystals, 4 crystals. I guess Claudia has pretty big money potential now that we upgraded her starting hand. So maybe we'll just stick with Claudia and Lost one more time. And then maybe branch out from there. So we've got 8 XP. Let's see what we want to do. Next time you gain a card this turn, you may place it into any ally's hand. Then any ally gains a copy of the same card and places it into their hand. Okay. Ba-dum-bum. Gain a charge. So I'm looking at this 6 cost experience level 1 breach upgrade. It says when a spell is cast from this breach, if the player who casts it has no closed breaches, that spell deals an additional 3 damage. So Lost starts with 2 open breaches. And if we stick that on his 2 breach, then as soon as he opens 3 and 4, he's pumping out damage like crazy. That would leave us 2... That would leave us 2 XP, which I guess we could spend that to put this boost card on a spark that we have, and give that to Claudia, and then Claudia could work on boosting that fully, because she's got this crystal that we could boost that like the first time through our deck, basically. And then every time we play it, we get a charge. And that would be good for feeding spells to Lost. So that's probably what we're going to do. Let's do that. Let's do that thing that I said. We're going to spend 2 XP upgrading a spark. Basically anything that we want to be able to boost, having a starting card that just says boost a card in your hand is like wildly good, is what it seems like, especially when Claudia can double it. All right, and then we'll give Lost super mega damage potential once he opens up all his breaches. So that is our 6 XP down the drain. Also, Nugget is here. Come here. Hey, buddy. Who's this baby? Nugget is here because, of course, Nugget is here. Why would Nugget not be here, you know? So yeah, we spent all 8 of our XP. Stuff all seems fine, but none of it seems like super combo-y, which is the fun stuff that we're trying to get set up, basically. Okay, so everyone knows it's the most fun when it's the most broken, right? Okay. Build the supply using cards from your Gravehold Barracks. We also have this Ruins boost, which lets us focus one of our breaches at the start of the first turn of this game, because we did really well in the last game. Okay, so we're going to set up our card market now. The These are the new cards that we got. And Nugget is here to make sure that everything's cool. So, we're going to set up our previous card market first, and then we'll see if we want to swap stuff out. Bum, 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 bum. Okay, so we've got Scrying Sugalite, Cobalt Clump, Ether Dust, Electrum Rod, Chaos Charm, Grass Blade. We'd really like an upgrade for Grass Blade. It just isn't getting used that much. Cascade, which lets us cycle four cost or less cards back from our discard pile. Quicksilver Bolt, which we have not successfully started boosting yet, but once it's boosted, it does 4 damage. And Rainbow Surge, which we actually have a good amount of boosted copies of this, which just which heals you when you kill minions with it. Okay. So, our new gem is a 4-coster. Our current 4-cost gem says gain $2 the next time you gain a card that costs $5 or more this turn. Silence a minion. We're not doing that very much, to be honest. Glint Splinter says gain $2 and recall. You may discard a prepped spell. If you do, gain $1 and you may place the next card you gain this turn on top of your deck. Interesting. Flamequake is a 6-cost spell. It says deal 5 damage, recall, lose 2 charges to remove a fire token from your location on the map. Void Anchor, silence a minion and any ally gains 2 ether tokens. Interesting. And recall is Gravehold gains 1 life. And Dark Light Sample, gain $2. You may place your deck into your discard pile without rearranging the cards. Interesting. So that just lets you cycle your deck super fast. Interesting. We might actually like that. Let me double check the rules on recall real quick, because this is the first stuff we might actually take that says recall on it. Player cards, blah, blah, blah. I thought there was a thing that just said recall here somewhere. There probably is, and I'm just missing it. Fire tokens, ether tokens, cross out. Was it in the ruin stuff, maybe? The recall effect of a card can only be used when it is in your discard pile. Recall means once per turn during your main phase. If this is in your discard pile, you may resolve this effect. You can use this effect when you gain this card on your turn, since it will be in your discard pile during the main phase. Okay. So as long as a card is in our discard pile, we can do the recall effect. So Void Anchor just is like infinite healing for Gravehold if we get enough of them. I don't know. I don't know about Glint Splinter and Flamequake, honestly. Flamequake is 5 damage, which is nice. Certainly. Place your deck into your discard pile is a wild effect. I kind of want to take that. I feel like we should swap out something, right? But also I kind of like the things that we have. Now, Volcanic Shrapnel. Deal 1 damage, deal 1 damage, deal 1 damage. You may return to your hand up to 2 cards from your discard pile that cost 0. So Volcanic Shrapnel plus the damage boosting breaches that we've got is bonkers. So I guess the question is, do we swap in Volcanic Shrapnel over Grassblade? I'm going to say yeah. Like, we haven't been buying Grassblades at all. Like, ever. So I think we're going to do that and see how much use we get out of it. We might swap back in a cheap spell if we get a good looking one. And I think Sunken Onyx. You may discard this after any ally focuses a breach. If you do, they focus that breach again. Do we swap in Darklight Sample instead of Cobalt Clump? Like, I feel like we got a decent amount of use out of Cobalt Clump in that one game. We silenced a whole bunch of minions. Plus, it's nice to have a 4-cost thing. So maybe we'll keep that for now. Darklight Sample, I feel like it has a lot of potential, but I don't know. Scrying Sugilite being able to be $3 feels pretty nice. So I'm getting a text here. Sorry, give me 1 second. Boom, boom, boom. Boo, 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 boo. Sorry, I was talking to somebody who somebody offered to give me their copy of Descent, first edition, basically for if I covered like half the shipping, and I was like, oh, a word. So I'm pretty excited about that. Okay, so we swapped in Volcanic Shrapnel. I think we're gonna keep our gems and stuff for right now. Darklight Sample is really interesting. I don't know. I honestly don't know if we should swap that with Scrying Sugilite or not. It's such an interesting effect. But I think for right now, we're just going to roll with what we got and see how it works out. I'm tempted by it. Okay, so there's our market. And again, if anyone has any questions about any of this or what any of the cards do or anything, feel free to ask. Open envelope 16 and deck RA. Okay. Deck RA, envelope 16. Let's see what nasty guy we're about to fight. The Rust Amalgam. Sounds unpleasant. And he's got a token. He's got a target token. Okay. Before we get into that, we'll get our starting hands and stuff set up here. Bum, bum, bum. All right. Mirror Shard. Crystal. So 1, 2, 3 crystals, 1 Jubilant Halo, and 1 Spark. And then 2 crystals, a Mirror Shard, and 2 Sparks for our starting hand over here. And yeah, that turns this Spark into its fully boosted effect after the first cycle through a deck for Claudia. Three crystals, a Molten Forge, and a Spark over here. 2 crystals, a Bronze Ingot, and 2 Sparks over here. Okay. So, there's our starting stuff for the heroes. Crack open this deck here. All the setup instructions on the back of the Nemesis mat. Construct the Nemesis deck following the deck construction rules on page 12 of the rulebook. Be sure to use as many upgraded Nemesis cards as possible. Okay. Constricting Parasite. Ugh. That all sounds bad. Oh man, Vermax. Look at that guy. I love that. Color's a little bit washed out on that, just from our lighting and stuff. Does that come up a little bit better? Yeah, I don't know. I need to mess around with my lighting more. We've also got Tuskax, who I don't know which angle is going to be better. Who is like a robot mammoth or something? I don't know. Turn my gain down a little bit. Does that look better? I think that looks better. It's a little bit dark over on this side now just because of how our lighting is, but I do think that looks a little better. So let me know what you think. Might gain it back up a tiny bit. Okay. We're just going to call that good. Okay, so here's our Nemesis deck. And for 2 mages, we got 357 for the cards. One, two, three, four, five, six. We've got 6 upgraded level 2 cards, so we'll just shuffle and take one out. And 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got 6 upgraded level 3 cards, so we need 1 non-upgraded level 3 card. We'll take that one. Okay. Upgraded. Basic. So, shuffle these up. And shuffle all the Parasite cards face up to form the Parasite deck. The first player gains the target token. So, this guy's got 50 life. And we're going to shuffle up these Parasites. It says additional rules. Unleash says place the top card of the Parasite deck face down on the bottom of the deck of the player with the target token. Then that player passes the target token to the player on their left. When the Parasite deck is empty and the player would need to place a Parasite on the bottom of their deck, the players lose. When playing solo, when you pass the target token, place it on the Nemesis mat. While the target token is on the Nemesis mat, ignore effects that affect the player with the target token. When the target token is passed while it is on the Nemesis mat, it is passed to you. Okay. So, this first one says, this cannot be destroyed. At the beginning of your casting phase, any player may discard a prepped spell that costs $4 or more. If they do, place this on the bottom of the Parasite deck. Otherwise, discard this and suffer 3 damage. Woof. Okay. Sounds bad all around. Okay, I do need to grab my little thing of tokens and stuff, charge tokens and whatnot. I appear to have left it downstairs. But once we grab that, we are ready to fight this quite nasty seeming fellow. Find another D10 for our life here. So yeah, let me grab that and I'll be right back. Give me like 2 seconds, y'all. Alright, we're back. We're back, and we got tokens. Okay. Defend the southern outpost from Rust Amalgam. If you won your first game, read section 49. If you lost your first game, record that game on the back of this booklet. Discard all fire tokens. Your group gains 3 experience per player. You may use that experience immediately, then replay this game. Okay? So, we're going to fight this metallic dog, alligator thing. So, put our decks up here. Got our dice counters. Okay. Got Lost and Claudia. Ba-bum-bum. So Lost has 2 breach upgrades currently. The first one says, when a spell is cast from this breach, if the player who casts it has no closed breaches, that spell deals an additional 3 damage. This one says, spells cast from this breach deal 1 additional damage. So, he's got a very high damage ceiling once he opens his breaches. He also has instant burst, like, damage at the beginning, right? We also get to focus one of our breaches at the start of our first turn. Focus that. And what's Claudia start with again? 3 crystals, 1 jubilant halo. Okay, so we'll focus this one for Claudia, since we're going to open that on our first turn anyway, right? And Lost starts with Molten Forge, 3 crystals. Okay. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-bow. And we are officially ready to roll here, folks. I mean, I guess to be actually official, we need to shuffle the turn order deck first, but still, you know, the point largely remains. Ooh. So Julie actually starts with $4 now instead of $3, which makes her opening hand a little different, probably, because we can focus that and buy a charge, maybe. And then our second turn is open that. No. What it is we put the 2-cost one in our next hand. Yeah, so our opening hand stays the same. $3 opens that breach, and we prep both of our spells, is her opening. Okay, so, yeah, let's get into it. We do need Scoot this guy over a little bit and get our life counters up here. Alrighty, shuffle up the old turnover deck. Give Lost the target token. And let's punch this guy in the face. What do you say? Player 2 is up first. I believe we had a plan for player 2, which was pay $3 to open breach number 2, prep our 2 spells into it. The end. Player 1 goes. We prep our 2 things, and we've got $3. I think $3 is going to be a Scrying Sugalite. It could be to focus that. We'd really like to get all of our breaches open for max damage, but I feel like maybe Claudia buys some Electrum Rods. Speaking of which, Claudia's up. She's going to cast these 2 things for 1 damage, down to 49. Casting a Spark and a Jubilant Halo. The Jubilant Halo gives us $1 that we can only use towards gems, which is nice because we've also got a crystal, which is $2. So that gives us $3 that we can buy a Scrying Sugalite with. We also prep our 2 sparks, and we're going to, we spent that crystal. We're going to use Mirror Shard to copy this crystal, which says boost a card in your hand. We're going to do that before we prep this spark, and we're going to boost this spark twice, so now we get a charge when we play that spark, or when we cast that spark, rather. Yeah, being able to basically instantly fully boost anything feels pretty good. First Nemesis turn. Power 2, Inevitable Assimilation. Says to discard, spend $5. Power 2, unleash twice, place those parasites on top of the player's discard piles instead of the bottoms of their decks. Well, that doesn't sound great. Player 1. Shockingly, he does not have $5. We're going to cast these 2 spells. That one for 1 damage, down to 48. And Molten Forge, we might spend it as $2 that can be only be used to gain spells. That gives us 2, 3, 4, $5 to buy a spell. What we bought a gem the first time through. Or it could give us $3 to buy a not spell. I guess we'll go ahead and buy a Cascade. Just to get our spell game on ramp up here. So we lose 1 power off of Inevitable Assimilation, and also this comes out, and it says, unleash twice, any player suffers 1 damage, or Gravehold suffers 5 damage. Add 2 fire tokens to your location on the map. Unleash twice would give us some nasty parasites. Alternately, fire is also bad. You know what? We'll take 2 fire tokens. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Gravehold takes 5 damage, down to 25. I'm pretty sure one of these cards heals Gravehold, right? I could be completely imagining that. It'll be fine. Alright, that gets discarded. I really don't want to unleash and junk up our deck with stuff that damages us. I mean, I feel like that's going to happen enough as it is, you know? Alright. The Nemesis goes. So we trigger Inevitable Assimilation. It says unleash twice, place those parasites on top of the player's discard piles instead of the bottoms of their decks. So, we get an encasing parasite here, and a constricting parasite here. And those are both going to do a non-trivial amount of damage to us when they come up later. This says Manufacturer. Oh, and the target token passed over here and then passed back over here. It says Power 3. It says the player with the target token reads section 60 of the narrative book and then passes the target token to the player on their left. Ugh, that sounds bad. Okay. Player 1 is going to go. So we're going to fire off these 2 sparks. Certainly down to 46 plus 1 more. Plus, we should have done 1 more with our other spark because it did an additional damage from there. And we prep a spark, and we've got $5. Which, ooh, it could be $6. It is $6 is what I meant to say. Does that extra dollar do something good? Well, there's not a 6 cost anything out here, so $6 is probably we'll focus this breach and buy another Scrying Sugilite. Okay. Player 2 goes, gains a charge, and does 2 damage. Down to 42. Prep 2 spells. We've got $3. Which I guess is just a Scrying Sugilite. Claudia feels like she starts slow for someone who's supposed to be money, right? 5. Okay. So we drew our Constricting Parasite. Which says, at the beginning of your casting phase, any player may discard a prep spell that costs $5 or more. None of us have that. If they do, place this on the bottom of the Parasite deck. Otherwise, discard this and suffer 2 damage. Okay. We do 2 damage, or possibly, let me see, 1. This should be like this. Okay, so this is a spell. So Scrying Sugilite gives us $3. You can play it twice to get $6, $7, $8, $9 this turn, which is 3 sparks and a $3 thing, or Yeah, I think it's going to be three charges. Let me see what her next hand looks like. Her next hand is $4. I really need this big money hand to be able to give Lost 2 copies of Volcanic Shrapnel. So, I guess we buy 1 charge, and that leaves us with let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That leaves us with $7. So we'll buy a Rainbow Surge. Okay. The Nemesis goes. Carriode Raiders have shown up. 3 shield tokens and 3 life. So we need to hit that guy 4 times. Player 1 goes and hits them 1 time. Prep 2 spells, and we've got 1, 2, 3. If we have 5 or more spells in our discard pile, we gain an additional 2. So 1, 2, 3. We only have 3 currently. We're almost there. So we've got $3. We killed the cheap spell, sadly. We could buy an Electrum Rod, I guess. Or we could focus this breach and just keep working on that, I guess. Claudia is going to give us... Claudia is going to give us spells eventually, right? Sad. Okay. Claudia is going to give us spells eventually. All right, so shuffle this on up here. And the Nemesis goes. So we lose one of these. Gravehold suffers 2 damage, and we get a fire token. So we're certainly going to have to get some Chaos Charms before this is over, if at all possible. And also, to discard, spend 6. Unleash Gravehold suffers 3 damage, add a fire token. Okay. Player 2 goes. Prep those. We've got $4. I think we just buy a charge. If her next turn is bad. Yeah, her next turn is real bad, which is a real shame. $4 is an awkward amount of dollars in this market that we left ourselves. Maybe we just buy an Electrum Rod. No. I'm not going to buy that. I'm going to buy a charge and call it a day. Player 1's going to go. At the beginning of our casting phase, we can discard a prepped spell that costs $4 or more to destroy this. Otherwise, we take 3 damage. I mean, I guess we got to do that, right? So we'll discard that and get rid of this parasite. We've got $4 right now, which I think is just going to open this. Prep 2 spells. Yeah, seems fine. Okay. Player 2 is going to go cast these two to get rid of these 2 shields. Wow, if player 1 could go again before the Nemesis goes, that would be great. We also get a charge because of that. And Constricting Parasite. We do not have a prepped spell that costs $5 or more in play, so we take 2 damage and discard that. We got to get rid of those. That's terrible. We prep 2 things, and we've got $1. 2, 3. So next turn we're going to have so we'll spend our $1. Next turn for her, we're going to have 2, 4, 6, 7, which is sadly one short of being able to buy Volcanic Shrapnel and give it to Lost, which is super sad, actually. Ooh, actually. Oh, come on. Yep. Sad how that worked out. Player 1 gets to go, though, which is nice. So we do 2. Hold on, let's draw cards first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bum, 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 bum. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so we're definitely killing this guy, right? So that's 2, 4 damage. Kills this Carriode Raider. We're going to cast Molten Forge to get money. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, $6 specifically to buy spells, which I guess is just going to be a Quicksilver Bolt? Question mark, question mark. Or a Cascade. It'll be a Cascade, I guess. Okay. And the Nemesis goes. So this says the player with the target section or target token reads section 60 of the narrative book and then passes the target token to the player on their left. Okay. Section 60. Says the tiny machines don't seem intelligent, but they spread like sludge, wrapping around your legs and interlacing themselves into your skin. It takes almost all the energy you have to keep your focus on running your magic through your own body and forcing them out of your flesh. Place a parasite card into your hand. Oof. Okay. Alrighty. Target token comes over here. We've been trying to work it for Claudia to be able to give Lost 2 copies of Volcanic Shrapnel, but sadly, I think the Parasite caused our deck to not work out quite as much as we wanted it to. So we are going to do 6 damage to the boss, down to 36. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, we've got $7. And we can give 2 copies of a card that we buy here to Lost. So, I mean, it's not Volcanic Shrapnel, but I think we still buy 2 copies of Rainbow Surge that go into Lost's hand. It says the next time you gain a card this turn, you may place it into any ally's hand. Then any ally gains a copy of the same card and places it into their hand. Yeah. So, it would have been better if it was Volcanic Shrapnel, but it's still quite good. So encasing Parasite, we can't get rid of it, so we take 3 damage, down to 7. Do this Spark for 2 damage, down to 34. We prep all the spells that we found. We've got $8 for ourselves, so we'll just buy a Volcanic Shrapnel with it, you know? Sometimes you just buy the good cards yourself. Alright, so Unleash. Gravehold suffers 3 damage. Add a fire token to your location on the map. We're at 4 fire tokens, which is definitely the most that we've had so far. This goes on the bottom of the deck of the player with the target token. Then comes over here. And I feel like we didn't actually do that right the last time, but that's fine. This says 2 discards, spend $6. Player with the target token draws 2 cards and discards 3 cards. Unleash. Okay. Player 1 goes. We do infinite damage. Sadly, there are no what am I trying to say? There are no minions around for us to kill. Ooh, Cascade does let us take a card that costs $4 or less back into our hand from our discard pile. That's not a spell. So we do 6, 12, 15 damage. 10 down to 19. And I've got that put 5 spells into our discard pile. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, $5. So we're going to focus this and prep a whole bunch of spells. The Nemesis goes. Wow, it's just all powers, huh? Immediately unleash twice. Ugh. So that puts this... hold on. Before we do that, I need to draw our hand. Claudia needs to draw her hand. So Unleash is going to put this on the bottom of the deck here. And then this on the bottom of Claudia's deck. And the target token ends up back on Lost. And yeah, that's it. Okay. Player 2 goes. Deal 1 damage down to 18. Prep 2 sparks. We've got $4, which is not enough to buy Chaos Charm, which would do something that I'm blanking on, which would get rid of fire tokens. So, okay. Yeah, we need to spend $7 with Lost to open this breach before we cast Volcanic Shrapnel out of there, because it does 9 extra damage if we do that. So player 2 goes, dealing 2 damage, getting a charge. Down to 16. Did I not draw her hand? I'm not sure whose hand this is. I think this is Lost's hand, which means I have to do this for Claudia. Good lord. She's got 3 parasites here. She feels bad. She's immediately going to take 7 damage. So we can cancel one of these. She's going to take 5 damage, which, like, isn't great. She's at 1 health. We have to discard Cascade to do it. We prep that, and we've got $1. The end. All right. That was a bad turn. The Nemesis goes. Gravehold suffers 2 damage. The player with the target token draws 2 cards and discards 3 cards, and then we unleash. One. So 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 5, so I need 4. So that's 2, 3, I guess. Yeah, it leaves us $4. And then we put a Constricting Parasite on the bottom of our deck over here. And yeah, we need to kill this guy ASAP, because Claudia is about to die. Unleash twice, Gravehold suffers 5 damage. Down to 13. If there are 4 or less fire tokens on the map, add 2 fire tokens. Jeez. We're finding some fire tokens this time around. And we have to unleash twice, which puts one of these here. And then one of these here. Okay. Nemesis goes again. Okay, we've got a choice. Unleash twice, the players collectively lose 3 charges. The players discard their 3 most expensive prep spells, or any player suffers 5 damage. We'll have a player suffer 5 damage. I think we win before that matters. I'm going to say I hope we win before that matters, because we're playing fast and loose with our damage potential here. Okay, so we're going to focus that definitely. Let me see what his next turn looks like. His next turn is only $2, which is tragic. So we do 2, 4, 5 damage. I don't think it matters. Down to 11. We prep volcanic shrapnel. Here, that makes it do 6. So we've got lethal prepped there, even though we're never going to get this open, which is sad. Player 2 goes, we do 5 damage. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, $8. Ooh, you know what? We're going to spend 2 of that on a charge, and then we're going to spend the rest buying 2 copies of Chaos Charm that go directly into Lost's hand. And then I believe Lost goes. Hey, Varega. Thanks so much for the sub, man. I very much appreciate it. Hope you enjoy your nugget dance. How are you doing this evening, my friend? Didn't see you jumped in there. Legacy of Gravehold is awesome so far. I'm really loving it. This is the 3rd game, and it is awesome. You know, I know you're a big Aeon Zen fan. It's really good. There's a ton of writing, and it's all cool. And all of the new mages and stuff, and spells and effects, everything I've seen so far has been super cool. So, I guess the question is, do we... I think we have to go for lethal right now, which means we're not going to be able to use these 2 Chaos Charms, but we're sitting at 2 and 1 life, and Lost's next turn kills him like 1,000 times over. So we have to go for lethal right now and do 6 damage, which is a shame. I really would have liked to remove 2 fire tokens, but, you know, it is what it is. So, we defeated the Rust Amalgam. So yeah, Varega, have you seen any of the games that I've streamed to this so far or anything? If not, I can talk you through some of the new stuff if you would like. But yeah, so we win that fight, which is nice. It was looking a little dicey, I'm not going to lie. Schedule change, nice. Yeah, my streaming schedule has been, let's say, a little all over the place at these days. But I'm also posting the games on my YouTube channel, which I can post the link to here if you want to check them out. Give me 1 second. Let me grab the link to it. I should probably have like a bot command to to post that or something, but you know. There's probably a shorter URL to that also, but I've got it. I've got the unboxing and the first game up there. I've got the second game uploaded. I just haven't gone and actually posted the video yet, and then obviously we're playing the third game right here. So we just won our third fight, so you're just in time for some reading some stuff. If you won the first game, read section 49. Okay. Section 49. Nice. Yeah, well, let me know what you think. I mean, I basically just post Twitch VODs, you know. All right. As the metallic beast finally falls, Talix turns to look at the devastation around them. The fight has taken a toll not only on the fighters, but also on Southpost itself. We should gather whatever is salvageable, Inko says. If our enemies were here, we need to make sure that they can't get their hands on our resources. Right, plus they might be useful in protecting New Gravehold, Kadir says. If you won your first game versus Rust Amalgam, your group gains 4 experience per player. Otherwise, your group gains 2 experience per player. Either way, do not spend this experience yet. Record the results of this game on the back of this booklet. Write the number of fire tokens on Southern Outpost on the Southern Outpost location on the map, then discard all fire tokens. If you played this game twice, write the higher number of tokens. Then read section 18. Okay. So let me write this down here, and then we'll look at some of the cool new stuff. Very good. G, Nemesis, Rust. I don't remember what we read at the beginning. We're in Southpost. We won with 6 fires, which feels like more than we have ever had before by a long shot. And we get 8 XP. There's our XP. Oh boy. I need a more permanent solution for this wire that comes off of my camera. I've got it electrically taped to the ceiling, but it likes to just fall off. Anyway. Okay. 49. Read section 18. Okay. Bum, 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 bum. Section 18 is, "Oh good, I found you." The group turns as they see Mazra, out of breath, rushing up to meet them. I tried to send word to Brahma that there was a nameless attacking the northern outpost, and she said you were all here, preparing for some kind of war. Zana is summoning all of these nameless to try and distract us. Spread out and weaken our forces, Gygar says. But leaving this nameless on our north side will only provide a later complication, and if the enemy is truly coming up from the south, we would be fighting a split battle, infinitely more complicated. Mazra brushes her bangs out of her face. The wisest option is to consolidate our forces now while we still have time. Come with me to the north and defeat the Nameless as quickly as possible, and then Soskull and I will be free to return to New Gravehold and defend the city with all our forces together. Okay, Claudia nods. You sound like you have this pretty well thought through. I vote we follow Mazra's plan. Soskull is a trained commander. We'd be better off having him on our side, Inko says. Plus, we can't leave him to fend for himself against the Nameless, Talix adds. Then we're decided. Mazra nods. Come along. Okay, set aside all the upgraded basic Nemesis cards. Open deck GHSO. Add all the upgraded Nemesis cards to your barracks. GHSO. We're reading stuff. We're stickering stuff. If there were 5 or more fire tokens, banish cards 23 through 29. Well, okay. Ooh, look at this guy, the Ceaseless Observer. I like the art on that guy. Okay. So we got some new nasty cards to add to the pile. Said banish. What are we banishing? 23 through 29. Shattered Rupiks. When another card or effect would cause you to discard or destroy this, you may return this card to your hand. Ooh, okay. That's cool. Find Secret Sheet 4, Section 1, and add these enhancements to your Gravehold barracks. Alright, so these are new cards for our next game. Galactum Cash. Gain $2. Any allied draws cards equal to the boost marks on this card, then they discard that many cards. The next time you gain a card that costs $6 or more this turn, boost this. So, yeah, so this is like a full-on legacy thing. There's all kinds of fun stuff going on. So these are boost effects. They have triggers, and when you trigger them, you mark off these spaces, and then they get permanently more powerful. 4-cost spell, Crystal Carapace. When another card or effect would cause you to discard or destroy this, you may return this to your hand. If it was prepped, you may prep it. Ooh, man. Evaporating Ray, deal 3 damage. Any ally may discard a card in hand that costs $2 or more. If they do, this deals an additional 2 damage. And Shattered Rupiks, which gives us $3. And if we would discard or destroy it, we return it to our hand instead. That would combo really in a really cool way with like trashing effects. So instead of trashing this card out of your discard pile, you could just return it to your hand over and over again. That would be a really fun combo. There are also overheat effects, which are like the boost effects, but they basically do bad stuff the more things you add to them. Those are the two big, like, sort of legacy things so far, aside from, let me see, what else was it? We've also got a whole bunch of stickers that we can add. I've been upgrading my breaches and, like, sparks and stuff just for power right at the beginning of the game, basically. There's also mage-specific upgrades, so, like, Talix is Inko's dad in the lore, so they have relationships that you can give to them, so when Talix does something, Inko gains a benefit, stuff like that. So those are cool. There's also just sort of general enhancements. Says at the start of each game, each player gains 2 life. This can cause you to have more than your starting life. Stuff like that. I've basically been trying to set up combos of like sparks that do cool stuff and breaches that do cool stuff. My current sort of power combo that I'm working towards is Lost. I'm also trying to upgrade non-mage specific stuff like breaches and sparks because there seems to be a mechanic in play for mages to permanently die, so you can't use them anymore. And I would be sad to spend XP on someone that died. Basically, I haven't had that happen yet. But so this breach right here, if you have no closed breaches, things you cast out of this do 3 extra damage. There's also this 8-cost spell called Volcanic Shrapnel, which is deal 1 damage, deal 1 damage, deal 1 damage. So, if you have all your breaches open, that does 12 damage if you cast it from this breach right here. So that's what I've been working towards. They heal between battles. It's not actually, like, just getting exhausted doesn't do it. It's a new mechanic called Severed, which is like one of the legacy things. I would have to assume like really bad Nemesis cards can cause it to happen. but I haven't run into it actually happening yet. And I haven't really wanted to look through the really bad cards to see what could kill you. But this is only the third out of like 20 chapters, so I'm assuming it's just going to get crazier and crazier. But yeah, my plan is to stream the entire campaign. So if you see me on, feel free to stop by because I've been loving this so far. It is awesome. It's like they really went all in on this being like expert level legacy. So they start with the baseline of how complex Aeon's End, how crazy Aeon's End was already, and then they were like, let's just pile all this crazy stuff on top of it. And I am all the way here for it. Yeah, so this Legacy of Gravehold, the box is basically two of the other previous large boxes worth of content, like piled into each other, and also a legacy game. It's like 25 or 26 or something mages, 20-ish nemesis, a whole tons of stickers, millions of cards. It's a ton of stuff. It's awesome. So yeah. But that is the end of Game 3, and I think I'm going to call it there for tonight. And I won't be streaming tomorrow because I'm actually going over to a friend of mine's house to play through an entire expedition of Aeon's End. But I'll probably... it'll either be Friday or like Saturday during the day that I'm back. But if it's Saturday during the day, I'll probably do 2 or 3 games of this back to back. Backing Aster Knights, nice. Yeah, I was looking at that, and I think it looks really cool. I don't personally know that I need to back like Aeon's End 2.0 when I'm super into previous Aeon's End currently, but let's just say I'm still tempted, still tempted. Yeah, and Varega, thanks again for the sub. I really appreciate it, man. Your support really helps. And yeah, what's your work schedule like these days, if you don't mind my asking? Like, because I'm tending to stream more in the kind of afternoon, like before dinner, Eastern Standard Time. That's kind of what I'm doing these days. But anyway. Doop doop. Boop boop. All right, and 2 a.m. to 2 p.m. But ooh, yeah, that's a schedule right there, man. That is that'll do it. Cool. Well, yeah. Even if if you don't get a chance to watch live, again, keep an eye on the YouTube stuff, and I'm going to be posting all my playthroughs on there. Tons of really cool Aeon's End content to come. Did you back Legacy of Gravehold? If not, I recommend checking it out. It's awesome. But yeah, I'm gonna see who's around for us to throw a little raid on too, and then I'm gonna wrap it up for the evening. I do believe. I think we'll throw a little raid on Board Game Steph. She's fun. But yeah, I will see you around next time, my friend. And have a great night. Thanks so much. I muted myself. Yep, thanks for coming through, man. I'll catch you next time, buddy.